Ask any Warframe player what one of the most annoying and confusing parts of the later game is, and unanimously they will all give you the same answer. No, not Orphix missions where nobody but you knows what to do. No, I don't mean disruption missions. I said later game, not a persistent design problem that has to be done away with, along with how spy missions are designed and the entire concept of defection missions. I mean the adversary system. Specifically when it comes to Kuva Liches, the enemies spawn from Grineer opponents and Sisters of Parvos, the Kuva Lich equivalent of the Corpus. The question often arises, a Lich was created, and now my resources are being stolen whenever I complete a mission on Earth, Mars, whatever planet the Lich is on. Also, the planet looks like it's covered in a cloud of fart gas. What do I do? Well, it so happens that in addition to this being a question I get asked about fairly frequently, I fully believe that as a player with a fair bit of knowledge about the game, it's my duty to try and help people with this whenever I can. Because at the end of the day, the more people who enjoy the game means a stronger, healthier Warframe community. We all live together, am I right? So in this video, I'll break down the current iteration of the Adversary system into 4 segments. Strictly speaking, just the Kuva Liches and the Sisters of Parvos. I'm not going to be covering the Technosite Coda just yet. Those 4 segments include covering what the system is, how to progress it, what some of the intricacies are about it, and what Digital Extremes can do to improve upon it. I'll answer all these questions as comprehensively as I can, but before we get started, please do me a favor and hit the like, subscribe, bell button, you know how it is. YouTube, algorithm, advertisers, yada yada yada. Normal plugs everyone has to add to their videos now because apparently subscribe doesn't mean let me know when this guy uploads new stuff. Anyway, essay video begins right here with part 1. What is an adversary? So if you've gotten to the point where you're asking, what now? It's safe to say you've met the prerequisites. You've built a railjack, you've completed the war within, and the Liches spawn one way or another. Maybe by accident, maybe you were trying to create one on purpose, who knows? Either way, the first thing you need to know is that Liches and Sisters of Parvos, but for the sake of brevity, I'll use the term Lich as a catch-all term for both enemy types, are essentially faction-specific super soldiers, custom-built and reshaped from larvalings or candidates in the case of Sisters of Parvos, to fight Warframes on equal footing. In the case of the Grineer, Kuva Liches are larvalings that were, let's say, they met an assisted premature expiration by Warframe, and Sisters of Parvos are the result of Corpus candidates who have met the same fate. The Liches can spawn on any Grineer mission level 20 and above. I prefer Adaro on the planet Sedna. And Sisters can be created on any Corpus ship mission that has one of those golden hand statues on it. Hydra on the planet Pluto is your best candidate, honestly. For the Grineer, simply obliterate enough enemies fast enough to trigger the screen to flare yellow. Continue the mission efficiently and quickly, and eventually a Kuva Guardian will appear in the lower right of the screen, saying something like "Subject found." At this point, a marker will appear on your HUD denoting the location of a larvaling. If you defeat this enemy before the hidden timer expires and perform a finisher, or an execution, a Lich will be created. Before you perform said finisher, however, make sure you take note of something. Above the enemy's head, there will be an icon of a weapon. This is the weapon the Lich will be created with, the one that not only will they use against you, but the one that you will receive upon defeating them. If it's not the weapon you want, do not abandon the mission. Extract as normal, as doing this will tell the game to lower the chance to add this weapon back into the pool of weapons that can be dropped from spawning a Lich. All of this applies to the Sisters of Parvos as well. Don't worry. The only real difference is the acquisition method, as it involves challenging random voids, and we can get into that in the future if you like. Once you're happy, perform your execution, and when you load back into your orbiter/back room, your Lich will contact you directly, taunting you, being really snippy, or sneaky, or depending on their personality, there are things about that. When you go to your star chart, you'll see an icon in the lower right of the screen, red for Kuva Liches, blue for Sisters. And if you click on this icon, you bring up the Adversary menu. In this menu, we see a few things to take note of. On the left-hand side of the screen, we see the adversary info, including their name, their resistances and weaknesses, their weapon, and the inherent elemental damage type on said weapon, along with the progenitor Warframe, the one that created them. This used to be important, as previously, you would have to try to destroy the Lich using the frame that spawned it. Luckily, this is not a requirement anymore, so go absolutely nuts, fam. If you spawn a Lich using Atlas because, haha, funny Punchman looks like bacon, but you main Titania, go ahead. Use the Murderfly Queen as much as you like. And the elemental weapon bonus? It's also irrelevant now with the introduction of certain recent content. No spoilers. Don't worry, my beloved baby Tenno, you will get here in time, so don't stress about the elemental bonus and optimizing your Kuva weapons too much just yet. Also, shout out to one of my favorite Liches, Rut App. You were a real one, now you're dead.
Oh, I do love our bouts. Right before someone dies, their last word is almost always, no. It was my last word to you. Remember.
Look, we all make some mistakes when we're younger, and I'm about to make another one. I'm gonna give her a call. I'll be right back, hold on. Leave your favorite Lich names in the comments below. So, just below the name of the Lich, we see 4 icons that look oddly similar to Warframe abilities. Surprise! Remember when I said they were faction-specific anti-Warframe super soldiers? Yeah, they also have abilities they can use in their fight against you. Some of them are rather mundane, like the ability to jump, or the astounding ability to grab you and slam you, like Bane breaking Batman's back. Others are just straight-up rip-offs of Warframe abilities, like being able to create an irradiated carpet of flowers zone that heals Grineer, but damages you and applies radiation to your team. Proving once again that green players get fucking everything, while the rest of us get to suffer, because Timmies are catered to. Thanks, wizards. Wait, shit, wrong game. On the right-hand side, we see the more important mechanical aspect of the adversary system. The Requiem attempts tracker. Requiem? What? Requiem attempt? I hear you ask. Well, I'm glad you asked, voice in my head that's surely a sign of early onset schizophrenia. We will get to that. But hold on! Before you can fight a Lich, you need to do some prep work. See, just like you can't expect to take on Captain America armed with a box cutter and a box of napkins and hope for the best, you can't fight a Grineer super soldier with your normal Warframe arsenal, at least not without understanding the new mechanic that gets introduced here, Requiem mods. These are special mods you install on your Parazon of all things, that you will use during your attempts to destroy the adversaries you spawn while playing. There are 8 different Requiem mods available, each one corresponding to a different word in Voidspeak. The mods are, in no particular order, Fas, Jahu, Kra, Lok, Netra, Rhys, Vom, and Zata. Technically, there's a 9th mod called Ul, which can be used in place of any of the previous 8, but it can only be obtained later on in the process. In order to obtain a Requiem mod, you need to obtain one of these little things here, a Requiem relic. These can be obtained via the in-game marketplace for Platinum, but the beautiful part about Warframe is that you can get almost everything in the game without spending a dime. So let's look at how to do that. In order to get your hands on one of these shiny, menacing, forbidden murder eggs, you first need to go into your alerts tab in your store chart. Say hi, Clem.
Clem!
In here, under the notifications tab up top for Clem's weekly mission, you'll see these icons that look like red comma things. This is Kuva, and these are Kuva missions. Any of these missions, which refresh throughout the day, so if you don't see one you like, you can always try again later, have a chance to give you a Requiem mod. But if you see an icon of 3 Kuva symbols together, this mission is guaranteed to give you a Requiem relic. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as going into the mission and beating it. When you load in, go through the mission like normal. At some point, usually towards the end, you'll see this thing. This garlic knot from hell is a Kuva siphon. When you see it, it activates, and it starts to extract Kuva from the environment. Now, if it fills up all 8 pips under the minimap, it completes its task, and you get no additional reward for the mission. The Kuva siphon can't take damage from your weapons or Warframe abilities, and to add to the chaos, you'll be attacked by Kuva guardians throughout the process, usually being ridden by those annoying little Kuva jesters. So how do you destroy these things? Well, every so often, the siphons will raise one of their twisted little Satan's taint braid things and start hoovering up this black cloud-like stuff, which is the ambient Kuva that they're trying to absorb. Whichever braid is up and is actively giving the big suck, look in that general direction. You should see a black cloud with glittery red kind of stuff in it slowly traveling in the direction of the upraised braid. Quickly enter your operator mode and void jump into the cloud. This will destroy the braid that's in the process of collecting that ambient Kuva. Do this until each braid is destroyed, so 4 times, and the Kuva siphon will explode, and then when you complete the mission, a Requiem mod will be added to your rewards. From here, all you have to do is go to a Requiem fissure on the Kuva fortress, or to any Omnia fissure, crack open the Requiem relic the same way you would any other relic by collecting enough reactant, and pray you get a silver rank reward, which will net you one of the 8 possible Requiem mods you can install in your Parison. Ideally, you want to do this enough to try and get enough Requiem mods for at least 1 full set of them. I know it seems like a lot, but don't worry. A full set of 8 Requiem mods will set you straight for, at the bare minimum, 3 Liches. Well, now that we've covered the basics and preparation, we can get into Part 2. How to progress the Adversary system. Okay, so you got the mods. You have the Anger Potato Kuva Winter Soldier, you have fart gas covering your planet, and every time you do a mission, your Lich says something snarky, sarcastic, stupid, or worse.
Whatever the hell kind of a mix of psychosexual and hungry and impotent rage this is. Listen.
Time for a little meat, and then the main course.
So what now? Well, when running missions on the planet that is currently considered your adversary's territory, the planet that's covered in a red or blue gas cloud, depending on which faction the adversary belongs to, if you select missions that say adversary name territory, occasionally an enemy called a thrall will spawn. Thralls will share a name with the Lich occupying the planet who is the adversary of somebody on the team. And they may have 1 or 2 of the Lich's Warframe-like powers, but they go down really easily, like your mom. Make sure you hunt these guys down, as you want to execute as many of them as possible. For every one you kill and perform an execution on, you'll gain progress towards a Requiem Murmur, which will show up in the top center of your screen. When a Requiem Murmur is full, one of 3 required Requiem mods that is the key to defeating the Lich will be known to you. But this is only half the puzzle, because now that you have the keys, you need to know what order to insert them in. In this case, that means you get to play a game called Which Order Do I Arrange My Requiem Mods In to Stab My Lich With so that they don't level up and I can destroy them, which can be annoying. Thankfully, that's why the game gives us that Requiem attempts tracker that I mentioned earlier in the adversary menu, so we can know what combinations and mods we tried to kill the Lich with during a fight. Part 3. Intricacies of the system. So you have the mods all sorted and are ready to commit Lichicide. Now what? Well, do the missions. As you kill thralls and complete missions, your Lich will get more and more enraged with you. This is represented by their enrage meter below their name in their menu. In order, they go from indifferent to annoyed, fuming, furious to enraged, with each level making them more likely to spawn in during a mission. When they do, you fight them, and when they go down, you try to stab them with your Parasol. If the right Requiem mod is in the right position of the Parasol, the Requiem icon will show up as blue and the fight will continue. Get the mod order wrong or put the wrong mod in, and the Lich will survive the assassination attempt and level up, becoming stronger and more durable. Then flee to the next planet in their territorial rotation. The Liches will cap at rank 5, at which point they will be at their deadliest, but repeating the process at this stage, or clearing out every node in their territory and reclaiming the planet, will force them to flee regardless of Parasol setup. If you successfully decipher the combination and order of Requiem mods you need to kill the Lich, they will flee to their respective Railjack mission, both being extermination missions on the Saturn Proxima for the Grineer and the Neptune Proxima for the Corpus. Complete the skirmish, board the galleon, defeat them in the final confrontation, and then at this point you can choose, either vanquish them or convert them. You got 20 seconds to decide. Either way, the Lich is defeated, and you're done. Now, when you complete the mission, you get all your soul and resources back once you get back to the Railjack, and you're free to repeat the process with another Lich, a Sister, or a Technocycota, as you can only have one active adversary at a time. Now there's a couple of things to note here. First, vanquishing a Lich will give you their weapon, but converting them will make it so you can sell the Lich to other players for platinum, if that's something you're interested in. Second, a converted Lich can join you on your Railjack and in missions as part of your on-call crew. Third, there are specific ephemera that Liches and Sisters can spawn with, determined by the elemental affinity of the progenitor Warframe that created them, which we can see in this chart. Again, the progenitor Warframe does not need to be the one to defeat them anymore. However, a Lich only has a 25% chance at best of spawning with an ephemera as part of it, so it's up to you whether or not you want to go through the trouble of collecting all of them. That being said, whether you convert or vanquish them, they are guaranteed to give you said ephemera, whereas only by vanquishing your adversary can you get the weapon they spawn with. In addition, there is also a 25% chance the adversary will reward a Requiem ultimatum for only their player. Sisters of Parvos will also drop a corrupted holokey for all players, which can be traded to Ergo Glast on any relay for Tenet-specific melee weapons, along with the Tenet Ferox spear gun for 40 corrupted holokeys each. Now those Requiem ultimatums are useful, as they can be used from the gear wheel to force an encounter with your adversary once planetside, regardless of how pissed off they are. Oh, and also, whenever you stab a Lich or a Sister, there's roughly a 25% chance they will drop the 9th Requiem mod, Ool, which can be used as a replacement for any Requiem mod. Ool is fun, and it really does help cut down on some of the time the process takes from start to finish, as now the loop is a bit easier, so let me break it down for you like this. Step 1. Spawn a Lich. Go to first planet. Do missions until you discover the first 2 Requiem mods you need, but do not stab your Lich. Instead, fight them off or ignore them if possible. When you have both discovered, set your Parasol up like so. In your first slot, put Ool, and in slots 2 and 3, put either of the discovered required mods. Then, confront the Lich, fight them, and stab them. The Ool mod will work, and the second may or may not work. If it does, continue the fight, and if you're lucky, the third one will also work. And there you go. The Lich will immediately flee to their Proxima. After this, It's process of elimination to discover the correct sequence of mods. And if done correctly, you should be able to force your Lich to flee to Saturn or Neptune by the second, maybe third planet in their territory. Easy, right? Part 4. How to fix this. Look, it's no secret that this is not a great system. Between this and the requirement for actually getting a Sister of Parvos candidate to spawn by going into a Granum Void, specifically using a Zenith Granum Crown, and getting a minimum of 75 kills on Granum Spectres, it's a clunky, archaic system that needs a bit of an overhaul. So how does DE redesign this and make it less awful? Well, DE has been really good lately about the new player experience, and with the upcoming, as of the time of recording this, releases that they have planned that add backstory and cinematic content to Teshin, I think giving everyone's favorite, second favorite, Space Dad, a bit more spotlight, this could be a really good opportunity for DE to retroactively fix a big part of the game that kinda sucks? Like, maybe if when the player first spawns a Lich, Teshin could call you and catch up with you, ask how your day was, say something like, Tenno, how have you been? Did you do your space homework? Are you making any space friends? Oh, what, you have a space bully? Okay, let me show you how we deal with bullies. And he gives you a set of 3 single-use Requiem mods to use in a guided mission chain that takes you through the process of taking the Lich down from beginning to end. And when you finally kill the Lich and the mods break, he can show you how to combine 4 of the defiled Requiem mods together and roll them into another one. Only this one can be guaranteed to be an Ool mod, to make the player's gameplay experience that much better. And then he takes you out for space ice cream on the relay or something. Maybe you catch a Lunaro mesh together. Another thing that could be done? Get rid of the requirement to know the sequence. Honestly, just that small change alone would make the system much better by itself, but combining that with the Teshin fever dream I mentioned, why yes, I do have a strained relationship with my father, thanks for asking, would make the narrative experience feel much more involved and complete. Oh, and increase the damn drop rates for the ephemera. In conclusion, Liches can be an interesting bit of the Warframe experience, but as they stand right now, they're sorely lacking in some aspects that make them pretty obtuse to parse out for new players. With a few tweaks to their system, I think it can make the game much better in the long run, and I know that DE can do it. We are Tenno, and we believe. After all, they made Inaros not suck. Praise be to the glorious God King of Beetles and Sand. But anyway, if you like this video, please do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. It really helps in the algorithmic hellscape that is YouTube now, and don't forget to follow me on my socials and on Twitch using the link below. I try to go live 4 days a week when I'm not learning how to edit videos and use programs I've got no experience with whatsoever, so hopefully this came out not looking like complete shit. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.